lime in the stalls here. Hot out. Nice in here though. Guy can get used to this air conditioned stuff. So what we got going on today is we either got a bad well or well pump, or we got a water leak or something. We haven't had much for pressure in quite some time. Cows get drinking, can't really get any water in the barn. So hopefully it's just a pump issue. We had a leak here once a couple years ago, and they're kind of a bear to find. So we'll hope for the best and see what we get into the rest of the day. So check back after a while. Alright, we're just getting done with chores here. Hay should be ready to bale. We ain't a whole lot up there. A couple loads at most probably. I was hoping to get things set up and be able to do a little video unloading and stacking the hay and whatnot, but since it's going to fit on the wagons, I'm probably just going to put them in the shed, and I've got to get working on my pit again. Supposedly there's some rain for tonight, possibly a better chance for tomorrow night, so just try to get that hauled out as soon as I can. And we got the well figured out yesterday. Just the well pump was kind of plugged up. It likes to get plugged up about every 6-8 years or so. So it's better than having a water leak, I guess. Still expensive and not very fun, but what do you do? We did run into, after they pulled the well, they must have broke some rust and stuff free down in there and got in the water line, so I got a few waters leaking a little bit. So if I get time later, I'm going to have to tear a few of them apart and clean the floats out in them, see if we can get them to quit leaking, and we'll see what other kind of fun we get into. But for now, I guess we're going to get that hay baled up and we'll go from there. Alrighty, the wagon hooked up. Dad already took off to go start baling. And hopefully the baler is actually going to work, so I can hopefully get a little bit of video of it. So see how she goes. We'll check back in a while. we got a load. I didn't get a real great video of the baler, but I got a little on there. Something, I guess. There's a sorghum sedan we put down. Past where I can see out the window. That stuff's growing pretty good. Well, it looks like the rest will probably fit on the other wagon. There's some more of that sorghum sedan. So I guess 2 loads. We got baler still ain't 100% working, but it's a whole lot better than it was last year. God, we had a heck of a time with that thing making lopsided bales. It'd fill one side of the bale more than the other, and strings would fall off. And we had a heck of a time trying to get that thing figured out. And like I said, it'll make a lot of bales pretty good, but every once in a while it gets one that's a little fuller on one side than the other. But I guess what do you do? So anyways, I'll check back after a while. Getting out here with my first load for this side of the farm, and head down that little triangle. There's our new seeding. I don't know if anybody's watched the video of chopping oats and peas. That's the alfalfa that was planted with it. That's coming really nice. I think since the small square baler is working good, when this gets ready to cut, we'll probably try to small square that. That should make some really nice feed. I don't feed just a ton of small squares, mainly just little calves, and I get some grassier stuff. Grassy alfalfa works nice for in my calving pen for the cows that are getting ready to calve. So hopefully that'll work out. We can small square that. But I'm going to dump this load of manure off and check back in a bit. Alright, it's going to get working on the pit again. And I'm not getting a real nice, as good of a spread as I like. I'm actually losing a little bit in front of my tires. And then that kind of runs the hay down, and that kind of seems like it stunts that hay out a little bit. So what we can do here is there's a slide here. I had this whole bottom rebuilt there about a year after I bought this thing. So it's getting worn down enough. I'm going to loosen these bolts up and bring that back. I already tapped it back some, but I want to try to get that gap closed up here. Get me a little better pattern. Well, it is a hot, sticky one today. It's about 90. I think we got some storms thinking about coming this way. It finally got cloudy, but that's a good thing we got our water lines figured out, because before I didn't have enough water pressure to run the misters. And I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. At least the best of my knowledge, if you don't have enough water to get them cows soaked all the way through their hair, that'll actually make them hotter. And if you just put a fine mist on top of their hair, then that almost makes like a barrier. And cows cool through evaporation. So say you had misters and no fans and no breeze, well, getting them wet would actually make them hotter too. So you got to have good airflow, and then you get that water down onto their skin. That really helps cool them down. But definitely got to have the fans though. Typically, as long as it cools down some at night, and you can do this during the day when it's hot. Like, I rarely have a bunch of feed left over when it's hot, and you know, they'll drop on milk some, but not like they used to when they were back out on pasture. Or I used to kind of keep them in the barn during the day when it was real hot, but geez, you'd shovel half the feed you fed them back out the next day because they were just too hot to eat. And kind of not the case here. It's kind of how I got my fans set up the way I do too. I put fans over the stalls. Some people put fans down the alley. My thought process on that was, you know, they eat, they get nice and wet while they're eating, then they go lay down under the fans and it cools them off. Where I was afraid if I had fans and stuff on the feed alley or on any of the alleys, well, then they'd want to stand around, because you get some of that anyways. You know, it gets humid and they'll bunch up around the waters here and there, but at least you can keep them eating anyways. So I guess I jabbered on long enough. So I'm gonna keep hauling away here and see if I can get that field covered and hopefully most of the pit empty before it rains. Alright, next morning here, getting ready to start chores. I guess I'm gonna wrap this one up. What I ended up running into yesterday, I ran out of liquid in the pit, and there's a lot of solid in there yet, so I think we got a, I don't know, 2-3 acre piece of hay where the hay's just kind of so-so, and it's gonna get torn up next year anyways because it's getting kind of thin. It had a decent hay, looks good in there, it's just getting kind of thin. So I think we're gonna sacrifice that and empty out the rest of the pit on it, tear it up, put sorghum sedan in, and I think if we put a different variety of sorghum sedan, it should be ready about the same time as that other stuff we had planted, hopefully anyways. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's supposed to be a little cooler here this week. Ended up getting, yeah, just a little over 3/10 of rain last night, so better than nothing, so take what we can get. So anyways, guess we'll check back in a few days and see what happens. So thanks for watching. We'll catch everybody later.